federal prosecutors in New York have subpoenaed the company of Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, of course, a senior advisor to Donald Trump and also his son-in-law. Now, this has to do with Kushner properties going to foreign countries and essentially advocating for investment in US properties that they're trying to develop in return for what's known as EB-5 visas. These are visas for wealthy investors who put money into US-based projects and then get this so-called golden visa, this ability to get a visa just because they're rich and they're investing in US properties or US projects. Now, the program issues green cards to immigrants who invest $500,000 in US-based developments, 85% of which are Chinese. Now, remember, it was a big story when Kushner Properties went to China, had this big meeting with wealthy Chinese investors, and essentially let these investors know, hey, guess what? You know, President's son-in-law, he's connected to us. And if you invest, you can get this visa. They're not supposed to do that. That's against the law. Trump also reauthorized the EB-5 program the day before Jared's sister, Nicole Kushner, pitched the visas to potential foreign investors. EB-5 applicants also do not have a way of proving their level of skill beyond the ability to finance projects for US developers. The only reason why I bring that up is because this news comes right after Donald Trump claims that he wants to lessen legal immigration into the country because he only wants to allow skilled workers and skilled immigrants into the country who speak English, by the way. So I love that the federal prosecutors are going after, Kushner Properties, because there are so many negative ramifications of doing what they did. Not only are they breaking the law by mentioning Jared Kushner and essentially selling them these golden visas, but it's artificially inflating the housing market here in the United States. By the way, that type of foreign investment is artificially inflating the housing market in lots of other countries as well. And so it infuriates me that they keep getting away with it, and to know that prosecutors are finally doing something about it is good news.
Yeah, and for those of you out there who support Donald Trump because you think he's strong on immigration issues, that he cracks down on illegal immigrants and on legal immigrants, it's all a hoax. You've been totally suckered by him because he has no problems hiring foreign workers to work in his companies. And the reason why he's trying to make it harder for legal immigrants to come in is because then this is the only way of getting in, through the EB-5 visa. And where would that money go? It gets funneled right to his family members. And his whole scheme is so simple. All he wants to do is self-deal. Make deals with other countries, sell out our country, and enrich himself and his family. That's what this is all about. So whether it's the Russians, the Chinese, the Argentinians, it doesn't matter. He'll cut a deal with anyone, to make himself richer.
So what Nicole Kushner did, correct me, what she did was she went to these rich Chinese investors and said, invest in a project that we have going in the United States, and then we'll give you visas?
Yes.
That's exactly right. And again, the timing is just incredible, right? Because
did they
Trump reauthorizes this program, and then a day later, Nicole Kushner has this big meeting with these investors in China. And so yeah, it's all about selling visas to the highest bidder.
Right, and think about that. So it's not a coincidence that those dates lined up like that. So Nicole Kushner probably had that meeting set up with the Chinese, and through back channels or directly to Trump or his people said, hey, you gotta reauthorize this right away, because otherwise when I pitch them tomorrow, they're not gonna invest. So please do it right away. So come on, guys, this is like just rampant and obvious, over the top self-dealing.
And by the way, I just want to talk about this and immigration and all of that for a little while longer, because I think a lot of people are misled about what goes on with immigration, or how foreigners have a negative impact on our lives, right? Look, I know that we get painted as bleeding heart liberals or whatever, but I'm a reasonable person. And so look, if immigration is hurting Americans and their job prospects, then yeah, I do want to balance it, right? So I'm not saying let's open our borders and let everyone in. I think that it's a very delicate balancing act, and unfortunately, we don't have people who are having sincere discussions about this. We have a lot of demagogues. We have a lot of negative, fringe individuals who get all the attention and they basically monopolize the conversation. But I think it makes sense to have a real analysis of the impact of immigration and make smart policy decisions based on that. But if you really want to focus on how foreigners are harming Americans economically, this type of investment is harming us economically, right? Where we're literally selling visas to wealthy people abroad who either want the visas or, to be quite honest with you, are looking to launder their money. We have people laundering their money from Russia, and they do so by buying properties here in the United States. Same with China, okay? That's a big problem, and I want to do something to stop it right away. And also, here's another thing. Trump talks a big talk about employing Americans. Okay, so if you want to employ Americans, why are you raising the cap for foreign workers to come here into the United States and take American jobs, particularly jobs that you need for your properties, right? Trump Properties is looking to hire more foreign workers. That's weird. Doesn't that seem like it's a little inconsistent with what Trump was campaigning on? I mean, he doesn't care about you guys. And I'm not just saying that because I don't like him. I'm saying that because I know for a fact he does not practice what he preaches. Why is he bringing in foreign workers if he claims that he wants Americans to work those jobs? He's just full of it, man.
Yeah, yes. and to paint a very clear picture as to why these foreign investments hurt the US economy in many ways, is that, so for example, here in Los Angeles, there's a neighborhood called Manhattan Beach. It's beautiful there, okay? It's this beautiful beach community, and there's a finite number of houses right along the ocean. So when I first moved to the US, I mean, not to the US, to LA back in '92, those homes are just a couple $100,000, and I know prices go up. But now, just those lots, the lots are selling for $10 million each. And then it's another $5 million or so to put up a house there. Because there's only maybe 100 of those homes. And that's being impacted by super rich Chinese and super rich Russians. And many of those homes remain empty.
They remain empty, and you know what they do?
And they drive up the prices for everyone in the neighborhood, so Americans are now priced out of those homes.
That's right. So if you are earning, upper middle class income, it's almost impossible for you to own homes in certain areas of this country, and it's because of those foreign investors. And another thing I wanted to note, there are laws and regulations that state if you buy a home, you need to live there for X amount of years. You can't just buy it and use it as an investment when it just stays empty. And so now there are companies popping up that literally try to make it seem like there's someone living there when there's no one living there at all. They'll put shoes at the front door. No. It's absurd, it's absurd. So that's what's really going on. And again, I thank these federal prosecutors in New York for going after Kushner Properties for doing this. But more importantly, I want them to broaden their scope and not hyper focus on just what Kushner Properties are doing, because the reality is there are a lot of other developers out there that are doing something similar.
Help us build independent media together. TYTnetwork.com/join.